Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. I am doing this via YouTube Live rather than StreamYard. So this is, I've only done that a couple of times and I'm trying to get the comments on my laptop, and my laptop for some reason isn't loading YouTube, which is just brilliant. So I'm just going to turn my laptop on and off, and then I'll be back, and then hopefully I can see your comments. Fingers crossed. So, and then what we'll do is we'll start, we'll get into it and talk to you about the new fragrance house Levant Perfumes, which I'm really looking forward to talking about with you. I do need to just grab a notepad because I have just made some notes and I've left that about 5 feet in that direction. So, hi Frag Guy, thanks for joining. I'll be back in just 1 second. Stay right where you are. I'm still here. I'm still there. Sorry, very, very unprofessional of me. The show must go on, eh? Right, so I have my notepad. I've made some notes. I have some skin and I have some perfume. So I suppose we can get started. I'm just going to try and get my laptop booted up because that will allow me. Hi Russell, thanks for listening. Hopefully if someone can just let me know if the sound is okay, that would be great if you could do that. And I will be in the comments in just a moment, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Right, YouTube is now loading, so I'm just going to try and get onto the live stream. And where are we? Your channel, here we go. Sound is good, thank you, appreciate that, Carl. That's very, very nice of you. Who else have we got in the chat? Say hello if you're in the chat. Good to have some skin, yes, hello. Hi Kit Kat, how are you? Just trying to get my, just trying to get this on my own live, which is like, this is proving to be difficult. What happened was I actually set this up via my phone YouTube app, and I think that's where I went wrong. And then I've tried to get into the video and actually stream this through my MacBook, and I don't know how to get into it through my MacBook. So I've had to, last minute, hello, I've had to jump in and do it on my phone. But now what I'm trying to do is obviously just get onto my, access my comments so I can see what's going on and see the chat in a little bit more detail. Hi Roman, nice to see you. I have a video going live over this weekend. I filmed it today, you'll be pleased to hear. So I will be talking to you soon about that. Right, let's get into the live. So view on YouTube, video link, here we go. Right, I'm in. Let's just make sure my sound's off. Right, sound's off. And let's see if you can see the chat. Right, there we go. So who do we have in? I can now see the chat. We have who do we have here? Kit Kat, Zazie Brothers, Aroma Concepts, Jon Snow, Russell listening in. So we have a few people in the chat, so appreciate you all joining me. Don't forget to hit the like button. If you could do that, that would be awesome. And what I want to do first of all is actually just tell you about some of the things that I've managed to get in this week, which I am just really, really pleased about. Now, I had a win on Instagram, and it was Irresistible Parfums, Umar, and great page, and he put a very generous giveaway. I think it was a 25k giveaway on Instagram, and there was over £300 worth of discovery kits up for grabs, and there was lots of people that would win that, and I was one of the lucky winners, which I couldn't believe. So some of the stuff that I've got through, I've got so much content now because of this. It's untrue, because it's just insane. Now the first thing I just wanted to show you, which I just think is incredible, is this. Now that's from Javoy. And if we open that up, you'll see all the samples. And there's some incredible samples there. And then in with the samples, which I think is a really clever idea, they've got a load of cards. And on those cards, you've got the notes on the back. And it tells you what the fragrance is and what the pyramid tree is like for the notes. So they are very handy, and I'm really looking forward to diving in to that basically discovery pack. So that's the Javoy pack I got. We'll get on to Levant in just a moment. The person I've been speaking to is going to be in the chat apparently, so hopefully they can join. The next discovery pack I received was Fragrance du Bois. And this is the I think there's 10 in there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 10 different fragrances in there. So again, looking forward to getting diving into that. We have Strangelove Discovery Set. Never tried anything from that brand. And if we look in there, good sized decants. And what I really love about this one as well, you get a little notebook, and in the notebook you get a little bit about each of the fragrances that are in there. So that is really looking forward to diving into that. I love it when the discovery sets do that, and they put in the little cards with the notes and stuff. It's really handy, especially for sort of content creators, because we're able to do this live. I might do one on Sunday where I maybe go through 1 or 2 of the discovery packs, and then got the notes in front of me, so it's very easy. But that is look how stunning that looks. Great looking box. And then a couple of others I'm very excited about. I have never ever tried anything from Olfactive Studios, and I've got a couple of 15 ml in here. Hi Brian, thanks for joining, mate. And the first one is Rose Shot, which I'm looking forward to trying. And the second one is Leather Shot, which I'm looking forward to trying even more. So I know they're not cheap either. So stuff that I probably wouldn't have spent the money on ordinarily unless I fall in love with something. Then obviously I know Claire fell in love with Iris Shot recently. So really interesting to see those. And lastly, I have got a couple of other things to come in, I believe. I've got an Agafo discovery set, and I believe a By Argos discovery set as well. But that's the last one that's actually arrived in there. So you can imagine when they opened the box and all these goodies came. Sorry, apologies for the dogs barking. But you can see there some lots of new things to try. Definitely interested in Iris Shot. Yeah, me too, bro. Would love to try that for sure. Right, so we're not here to talk about those today. I will probably do something with those on my Sunday live. That's what I'm hoping anyway. That's the plan. I might dive into the Javoy set, or I might dive into the Fragrance du Bois set. So that's what I'm going to be doing on Sunday. So what I want to do is dive into the Levant. So Levant contacted me on Instagram and asked me if they could send me their sample pack of, and it's a new house, and they, I believe, are based in Dubai from memory, and they ship, I believe they're looking to ship worldwide, but they do ship to the UK at the moment. And they've just labelled their perfumes. I'm not sure if there's any plans for the perfume names to change. We could maybe find that out shortly. But they're just numbered. So they're numbered number 1, and then the numbers, they've got 5 perfumes. They go up to perfumes. Now, in the description below, I've left the link in the description. So you should be able to see that, and you can click on their website, and you can also follow them on Instagram. Now, I'm always a little bit scared to do these unknown brands, and the reason for that is because if I'm going to talk about them on the channel, I've got to be happy with them ultimately. I've got to be happy to talk about them, and it's always a little bit nerve-wracking. Yep, send the sample pack through, but if I say no to that, then I'm not going to maybe discover a new brand that I could be really happy with, and then other fragrance creators could maybe get a hold of them, and they could be the best thing ever, and I've turned it down because I'm frightened of not liking something. So I'm really glad, first of all, I've said yes to this brand, because From what I've smelt so far, I really do like them. So I can get that straight out there. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here talking to you about them now. I would just simply move across, talk to the brand and maybe give them some feedback. And that's how I tend to do things. So I am really happy to bring these to you and talk to you about them because they're not a well-known brand. They've not got many followers. They're brand new setup. They've decided, I think they set up in November or December, so in a really difficult time worldwide. Very, very brave decision to do. So I'd like to wish them all the luck in the world, and let's see where things take them. Hey D'Angelo, thanks for joining my live. I really appreciate it. Fancy seeing you here. Right, so firstly, let's move on to the fragrance. Just spoken to Lisa from Levant and she's having technical problems joining the chat. Oh no. If anyone is talking to her, could they just ask her to go into YouTube and simply type in Fragdicted, and she should be able to join the chat from any browser that she's on, either on a phone or on a laptop. Right, so hopefully Lisa can join us soon. So we'll dive in anyway. We'll talk about the first one. So number one. The website, by the way, is levantperfume.com. Don't go there just yet, though. Stay right where you are. Sound really cheesy. Right. So they came in little dabbers, and I mean, we know that dabbers aren't the best, but for me to test them, they've been enough. I've been able to sort of pour some on the skin and have a good sniff and a wear-in of them and get an idea of what they're like. Now, I'm not going to go into loads and loads of detail, like a detailed review in this live. It is just really a discovery, and I plan to be live for no more than probably another half an hour, so I'm not going to take up too much of your Thursday evening. So, the first one we're going to talk about, obviously, number one. Let's get this open and get some skin and tell you what they're like. Now, I've written some notes already based on my previous wearing, and I'm going to put a good amount on the skin so I can give you some idea of what they're like and what the notes are like. So see if any jump out for you guys. If you're listening and some of these sound appealing to you, just let me know. I don't think they're overly expensive. I believe they're about, at the moment, about £40. I believe they're a 65 ml from memory, and they're eau de parfum concentration. So for £40 at the moment, they're quite good value. I think they're going to go up in value once they've established themselves a little bit. But for the moment, I believe they're £40. So not overly priced at all. Now, Lisa sent me the note breakdown of the different fragrances, and the different they are aimed at a market, unisex and female and male, but don't take too much notice of that. I don't, when I smell them, I just want to see what I like. Now, I will tell you, if in my fault, they do feel that they lean a little bit feminine, but that's just my opinion. So firstly, I'm going to talk about 01, so number one. And in the top, so these are the notes. In the top, we have rose and pink pepper. In the mid, we have bergamot. And in the base, we have vanilla and amber. Anyone notice how the hair out of place? I have, yeah. It keeps falling down. It's annoying. Sorry about that. So this is classed in their words as a unisex fragrance. And let me read you my notes of my wearing. So it's nice, by the way. It's very, very nice. This is, for any rose fragrance lovers out there, then please, please hear me out on this one. Hi Nigel, thanks for popping in, mate. No trouble at all, thank you. Right, so this starts off with a gorgeous, gorgeous rose note. Hi Carlino, thanks for joining. And that is mixed with a hint of spice. It doesn't smell feminine at all to me. It doesn't lean that way. It is in the middle. Male or female could easily get away with this if you're worried about fragrances leaning feminine. This is probably one of the nicer rose fragrances that I have smelled. Now, I'll explain why. There's vanilla mixed in with amber with it, which gives it a sweetness. And it all blends together quite well to create something quite addictive and quite familiar. Now, it goes a bit powdery in the dry down, not overly powdery, and it also goes a little fizzy. So this reminds me a little bit of Brooklyn by Gallivant. Now, you might say there's no rose in there, but the base of Gallivant, that sort of eastern, slightly eastern feel with the amber and the spices and the fizzy sweetness that you get from the Gallivant brand, this has that similar note breakdown to it. It has a similar profile that reminds me of especially Brooklyn. Now, imagine Brooklyn, but you add a really nice powdery rose into it. That is what I get from this. And I think that's why I like it a lot, because I love Brooklyn. It's one of my favourites, probably my favourite one from Gallivant. So that is what this reminds me of. It feels a little bit musky, and it's just a lovely fragrance. So that is something I'm really going to enjoy. I'm going to burn through the sample because it's quite addictive. And some rose fragrances I'm very funny about. Now, rose oud I think can be slightly overdone. There's lots of fragrances like that. I'm not saying I don't like it, it's just not my favourite style of perfumery. This hasn't got any oud in it, but sometimes rose fragrances can, things like Delina and stuff like that, I personally am not comfortable. I don't want to smell of rose. Now, that's just me. It's not my favourite note breakdown, but there are some rose fragrances I actually really do like and like to wear. John knows this. I like Burberry Brit, I think it is. That's got a beautiful rose note in, and there's some fragrances that I really like with rose in, but I'm very fussy with it. I'm very fussy. I don't take this offence to this, but I don't want to smell like an old lady that smells of rose. That's not me. But I do love certain roses, and this is one that works really well for men or women, I think. I think that you would really enjoy this if you like rose fragrances. So just recap, smells a little bit like Istanbul, but has that sort of powdery rose note going through it. And it's not a dark rose. It reminds me actually of the rose in Delina. It's that kind of powdery rose, quite a pretty pink rose. But like I said, don't worry. If you're worried about rose, this might be something you might want to try to see if it's something you could get on with. So that is the first one. We'll move through them. Hopefully Lisa can join the chat soon, fingers crossed. So that is number one. So 1 for 1 so far for me, and I really, really like that. Now, number 2 is, let me run through the notes with you to give you an idea of what is in this. Number 2 has Lily of the Valley. It has jasmine. And in the mid, it has saffron and lavender. And in the base, it has cedar, musk, and hints of amber. Now, this is aimed on their website as a female fragrance. So this is classed really, in their eyes, they want it to be marketed toward women, and it is a female fragrance. However, is it? Let me check and I'll tell you my thoughts. Let me get a little bit on skin again, just to remind me of what it's like. Now, Bex is in the chat, and we tried a couple of these last night together, and this was, spoiler alert, her favourite. And I think her favourite by quite some way, I believe. Now, it does smell familiar. I'm going to say that. It smells like a designer fragrance, but there is some differences. So let me give you a little explanation of what it's like. So it opens with some white florals. It's quite sweet and it's got a hint of spice. It immediately turns, again, a little bit powdery, but with a lovely sweetness to it. It's quite feminine to my nose. It does smell like a designer female fragrance in my eyes, but it that added powderiness and an added little bit of sweetness, and it doesn't feel like a high street in some ways because it smells a little bit more niche. The powderiness that runs through it, but there is something familiar. There is something familiar there. It's not something I would be comfortable wearing personally, but it is a very nice done, well done. It has a clean cloud of musk, and it's got the woods and the amber just mixed in there with the florals, and that just gives it a little bit of depth, and it adds that to that composition. It feels like it has a similar DNA to the first one, and that's what makes it quite unique to some other fragrances. So when I've tried 01, it's got that hint of, I say this about Gallivant, they've got a DNA, and this has a similar DNA to the first fragrances. So this is something that I would personally not enjoy wearing, but I would love to smell it on Bex. I think it's a very, very nice, well done, pretty, feminine, floral fragrance, but with some added depth to it. And it certainly lasts on the skin as well from what I tried last night. I can still smell it after a shower. So that is number 2, and that was Bex's favourite. Hi, Mark. Thanks for joining me, mate. 7:20 here, sitting at work. Nice and early. I appreciate you joining. Thank you. Who have we got? Anyone else here I've missed? I apologise if I have. Said hello to Nigel. Carlino's in the house. Right, so on to the next one. Let's get on to 03. 03. Now, listen to the notes on this one. This is the one I was probably the most excited about trying when I heard the notes. But is it my favourite? So in the top, it has vanilla and tonka, which is strange because they would usually be listed as base notes. So in the top, vanilla and tonka. In the mid, we have cedar and honey. And in the base, we have agar wood and musk. So let me get this on another blank bit of skin. They're both very nice, by the way, so far, those two. Right, so remember these are dabbers, so I'm having to pour a little bit on some bare skin. I've kept myself blank this evening to make sure I can get an accurate smell of them. Right, so this is really strange because yesterday when I tried this, I think I was probably got a bit overwhelmed. I didn't get any oud at all. And today I do. Weird, very strange. And actually, that smells quite strongly of oud. I actually can get the oud from it, but it's not a barnyardy oud. Very, very strange. I did not get that yesterday at all. Let me tell you the notes that I got from it. And then just add some oud. Because I didn't get that yesterday. So they're talking about Mark. He's been really lucky. They've not got many active cases at all. Catty's put now want to move in an island too. You could almost move to the UK. They're doing really well, Kit Kat. We're an island and we're doing fantastically well. Right, so so in the opening on this, I get a hint of something citrus, but there's no citrus listed. It's almost like an orangey smell. Now, that might be coming from a mixture of different things, but maybe the honey's playing a part. I'm not sure. Does anyone get anything different from honey? It smells a little bit orangey, a little bit fruity. It's strange. It's extremely, extremely well blended. None of the notes, apart from that oud, which I didn't get the first time, very weirdly, and almost a bit smoky as well. I just did not get that yesterday, which is really, really strange. Wondering if I've put the right one in here. I think I'm going to have to go on. I may have messed up because this might be 04. but very weirdly, I might have put the wrong one in. I'm just going to get 04 on my other wrist and I'll be able to tell you. Sorry about this. Very unprofessional, but that don't smell right. It smells very, very strong, a little bit oody. Yeah, so right, I got this completely wrong. Let's get those swapped over. I mixed the bottles up yesterday. Right, they've got no labels on them, so please apologise for that. Right, so let's start again. There is no oud, by the way. There wasn't oud yesterday, and there isn't oud today. So let's start again. I'm going to put a little bit more on because I enjoyed this one. Quite a lot on. Drippy wrist. Right, so 03 again, vanilla, tonka, cedar, honey, agar wood and musk. No agar wood, no oud. I didn't get agar wood yesterday, like I said, there's no agar wood now. So this one, I wrote that it gets a hint of something citrus, which I get here, like an orangey smell. The notes are really, really well blended together and nothing really seems to jump out. So I get a little bit of wood. It's quite sweet, but it's not overdone. It smells slightly yellow or orangey, and I think that may be the honey, as I've just said. And I think that's playing a major part in this. I do get the honey, and it's got this lovely sweetness to it, and almost like there should be vanilla in there, but there's not. Very, very nice. I put that this is extremely nice. I don't get any agar wood, though this is possibly a supporting note, adding the backbone, but I wrote that I really do like this one. And I think it's the, oh, there is vanilla, sorry. So honey, vanilla and tonka together. That's gorgeous, but it's got like this orangey, vanilla-y smell to it. Lovely, that is really, really good. I wouldn't call it a citrus fragrance. It doesn't mention citruses. So that is really good. But it has that DNA running through it again, weirdly. It has like this chemical, aroma chemical in there that's creating this almost powdery fizziness, and they've all got that. So that was 03. I'm on to Hudson's. Right, 04. And this smells a bit different. Let me tell you what it's got in it. Right, so this has got some grapefruit. I'm going to put a little bit more on. It's got some saffron. It's got nutmeg all in the top. In the mid, this is a very, very interesting sounding fragrance. So let's see what you guys think of this, what this one sounds like. So grapefruit, saffron, nutmeg in the top. In the mid, it's got tobacco, cedar, jasmine, and rose. And in the base, it's got leather, patchouli, musk, and guaiac wood. So this one is predominantly, I would say, leather and tobacco. They're the two main notes that come out. Oh, we have Lisa in the chat. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining. Very, very nice of you. Sorry you had trouble getting into the chat. I really appreciate you joining me. I'll just recap at the end, Lisa, about what I thought of all 5 fragrances. But we're on to number 4. I've got one more left, and then I'll just go back and recap them for you. So as number 4, we have grapefruit, saffron, nutmeg, mid, tobacco, cedar, jasmine and rose, and base of leather, patchouli, musk and guaiac wood. Now, I wrote that this was very, very different to the other 4 fragrances. Extremely different, actually. This was the one, this is aimed at, the last one, by the way, is labelled as a unisex. This is aimed at a male fragrance, and I think the notes would give that away. If you're a female eye and you like slightly more challenging fragrances, I think you would like this. It wasn't Bex's cup of tea. I found it really, really interesting, and there is a place for it, and I really like the leather in there. It smells really quite uniquely of a quite a realistic leather note, but it's got this smokiness running through it, and I think that's coming from the tobacco. And it's got some woods as well, and the patchouli note is particularly noticeable in there as well. So this is different to others. It definitely opens very masculine with a blast of tobacco and leather with a heavy dose of patchouli. The florals creep through eventually with the spices and add a touch of sweetness. And with that gives it some balance that I think that it needs. So it's not all dark. It's light and dark at the same time. It still has that hint of the Levant DNA that I've mentioned on the others. And it's a really interesting fragrance. Like I've said, it has the right balance of darkness and lightness to it. And the tobacco note and the leather note linger throughout the wearing. I haven't completely made up my mind whether this is gone to the top, but it's a really, really well done and interesting fragrance. Different to other things that I've smelled. I can't remember smelling anything like this, especially with the tobacco and the leather together. But again, it seems really well blended. It's got that slightly powdery DNA that I've mentioned in the others. So that is 04. Really interesting, and like I said, very, very different to the others. Right, let's go back to the comments. Yeah, so thanks again. Number 4, definitely a male. Hey Mark, hey Mark, hey Rosie, perfectly. Hi Rosie, thanks for joining, appreciate it. So thanks Scott, thanks for joining mate, appreciate it. On to number 5. So number 5 is the last one in the range, and then I'll just do a recap of the fragrances that we've just discussed. So number 5 is classed as a feminine fragrance. It has orange, bergamot and lemon in the top. It has apple and ginger in the mid. And it has sandalwood and musk in the base. Now this one, let me just get this on skin. I'll find a spare bit of skin and get that on. Found a bit of spare skin. Right, so we're going to pour some on there. So a nice dose of that. And you can see wet wrist, moist. Right, so this one, in the opening, I get a little bit more of the perfume as alcohol than I didn't pick that up in any of the other first sniffs on those. I do a little bit in this one. It opens quite fruity and quite citrusy. I would be much more likely to wear this than 02. 02 for me personally was too feminine, but like I said, Bex loved it. She liked it a lot more than this one. But personally, I would be more than happy to wear this one. I think because of the citruses. There's nothing in here that makes it particularly feminine to me. There's not any notes. If you go through the notes again, orange, bergamot, lemon, apple, ginger, sandalwood, musks. There's nothing in there. I think this could completely, and hi bro. I think that Lisa, I think you could make this a unisex fragrance quite easily. So I would label this more, rather than a feminine fragrance, I would, and I'm sorry if I've got this wrong, but I would label this as a unisex fragrance personally because of the citruses and the notes in it. So it opens it up a little bit fruity and citrusy. I would be much more likely to wear it, like I said, than 02. But I get that it will come across as slightly feminine to some. I put that in my notes, but smelling it again, I don't think I agree with that. It's got a lovely muskiness to it. It has the same powdery DNA again. And it also, you'd think it might be airy and citrusy from all the top notes, but it's actually got some really interesting notes to it that give it some depth. So it's not something, for example, John's not the biggest lover of citrus fragrances, but I think he would like this because of the added depth to it. The ginger and the apple make it more interesting, and then the sandalwood and the musk give it that lovely base. Very interesting. It really settles straight down onto the skin. The alcohol note's completely gone now, so give that 10-20 seconds and that's gone. And definitely picking up a little bit of that ginger note in there. It's got that sort of slight tickly, yeah, it's nice. That ginger in there is lovely. The ginger mixed with the apple. The citrus is starting to settle back already. And the ginger mixed with that apple is gorgeous. But it's very musky again. Got that powderiness running through it. I've said, Lisa, I'm not sure if this is on purpose or not, but all of the fragrances seem to have a DNA. There seems to be something similar that's gone into all of them. and it's this, best way I can explain it is this slight, ever so slight fizzy powderiness to it. And all of them that I've tried seem to have that running through it. I might be just imagining it, it might be just me, but that's what I get. I might be completely wrong. You might want to comment on that, but that's what I get from it. So I'm just going to recap just quickly what I've got. And so 01, I said this reminded me of Gallivant's Brooklyn. Amber is present in most, but not all. Okay. And I thought this reminded me of Brooklyn with the sort of slightly Eastern feel to it with, I get a little bit of spice in there, there's no spices listed, but Brooklyn with this sort of ambery vanilla smell. And then with the added rose makes it really, really interesting. And this is completely unisex and something that I really, really enjoy the scent profile of, and something I think I would like to own actually. I really, really likes that. So that is up there. So for me, we'll try and put them in some sort of order now, which is going to be very difficult by the way. Right, number 2. This was the more feminine leading fragrance. It reminded me of something, I'm not sure what, but it opens with the florals, the white florals. It's got some sweet spice in there. It turns a little bit powdery. It's got some lovely sweetness to it. Not something I personally would be comfortable wearing, but Bex definitely would, and she really enjoyed the smell on me and said that it's very nice and she would like to own it. So there we go. And Bex is, Lisa, you won't know this, but my wife is extremely, she's in the chat as Fragdicted Snaps. She's extremely fussy, extremely, I don't know, very honest, I would say, about what she likes and what she doesn't. She doesn't hold any punches at all. She really doesn't. And she really liked this. And that is saying something completely, because I am not overly fussy when it comes to fragrance. I like lots of different things. So for me, it's easy to appreciate a few things. But with Beck, she will just simply say, no, don't like it. I'm being careful. I don't want to dig myself a hole, Brian. So number 2, not for me, but Bex's number 1 choice, Lisa. She really liked that. Right, number 3 was the unisex fragrance, which I am, I'm actually really, that was here. So Lisa, what I said about this one was, I got it wrong because I've mixed them up in the things. So I haven't got any labels on there and I mixed it up, so I apologise. But this was, I get like an orangey note in there where there's no citruses listed. I said it might be something to do with the honey, but it opens with something citrusy or orange or yellow, and this was extremely well blended, I thought, and none of the notes really jump out, but you get a little bit of the orangey note with the vanilla and the tonka, and it creates something quite special. The agar wood isn't in I can't smell it, and I thought that might be a supporting note. I don't get any oud in this at all. It is very easy on the nose, quite light, but something very addictive in there. And I thought that was extremely nice. And I think I like that more than number 1, I think. I'm going to put it up there next to it and we'll decide at the end. So number 1 and number 3 are at the top at the moment for me. Right, number 4 is the one that's got this is the more male heavily leading fragrance with the more challenging notes of the tobacco and the leather in. We've added grapefruit, saffron, nutmeg, so it's got some spices in there as well. This to me may prick my ears because it looked the most interesting, and it certainly is. When you get this on the skin, it completely, this was here, this completely sort of almost blew me away compared to the others. It really jumped out as being the strongest of them, and something that isn't too strong. If you smelled it on its own, you'd think it's very good. But this is completely different to the rest of the range, and for that reason it really stood out. But I'm not sure personally and there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm not sure if I like it as much as the other two, and I think that's probably due to taste more than anything. But I love tobacco fragrances. I'm starting to get used to leather fragrances a little bit more. I really like Godolphin. This is quite a smooth leather, and I would say almost quite a realistic leather as well, but it's not as deep or as challenging as Tuscan leather. And it's probably not as deep or challenging as, it's not as probably as deep or as ombre leather either. But the added tobacco to this gives it a little bit of smokiness. It's got the spices. Very, very interesting fragrances. Definitely the most powerful. Lisa just put that. I don't think that will be my favourite just due to taste. Mark, you would definitely 100% like that. 100% that. Scott, you would like that. Trying to think of anyone else in the room that likes the sort of deeper and heavier fragrances. I think there's a few people in here that would like this one the most. Right, my delicate nose. It's probably not too much for it. I would own it, but it's not my favourite. I'd definitely wear it as well, by the way. All right, number 5 was the last one I went through, which Lisa did here, which was the one that's a little bit more fruity. It's probably the fruitiest of these, with the orange, bergamot, lemon, apple and ginger. Definitely a unisex fragrance, and really, really enjoyed this. Not as interesting as some of the others to me, and that would be down with below probably number 4. So in my eyes, my favourite is number 1 or number 3. Bex's favourite is number 2. Number 4 was very, very good, and I appreciate it, just not as much to my taste. Number 5 was for someone that probably likes the lighter fragrances, but it's got some depth, so very, very nice. Now, I believe, Lisa, £40 at the moment, and if we could just, I've finished the fragrances, so if we could just iron out a couple of bits. So their EDP concentration, I've heard you say, were they 65 ml from memory, from what you told me? Number 4 also has vetiver as well, okay. 85 ml, right, great. So £40 for an 85. And how much is the shipping? And where are you shipping to at the moment? And just so we can get an idea of, because there's different people from around the world that usually join the live, so it'd be interesting to see. It's 85 ml for £40 is cracking value. $3.99 shipping, so that's UK. Are you shipping anywhere else, Lisa? So are you dispatching from the UK? Or is it just UK? And ask for overseas prices. Right, okay, thank you. So, yeah, have a look, Scott, because I think you'll be interested. I am going to be hitting Lisa up. I want to buy Bex, her one, so the one that she really likes. So I'll be along, Lisa, to buy that one. And I also really, really liked, I'm going to say, I'm going to go with I really like number 1, by the way, a lot. I think I haven't smelt anything like number 3, so I think I'm going to pick number 3. So I'll be along to talk to Lisa shortly. I definitely going to buy that for Bex, and I'm definitely going to look at buying that one as well. So that is number 3. What a smoothie this bloke is. Got to look after your lady. I'm a romantic, that's what I am. Eau de parfum. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting way to discover the brand. If you liked it, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up, there's 19 people in the chat and only 8 likes that I can see at the moment. So hit the like button, smash it, flick it, whatever you want to do. And on Sunday, I haven't got a guest arranged at the moment. That could change. I'm speaking to a couple of people, so that could change. But at the moment, if I don't get a guest, I will still be live. And I think I'm going to go through, so we can do it for an hour or 2. I think I'm going to go through my Javoy box. But I'm really looking forward. I cannot wait. I want to find this new love that beats the chronic. And I'm hoping in somewhere in one of these boxes, there's one there. We will see. What's Tony done wrong? I've been a good boy, Brian. I'm always good. Anyone wanting samples? Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Sorry you missed the start, but you're here now, and I really appreciate you reaching out to me. Have you got 21 from Javoy? Let me have a look. I think I have. Yes, I have. I've got that one here. That is in the box. Is it good? Do you like that one? Thanks, Lisa. Appreciate it. I haven't done anything wrong. I promise. Oh, that's their address, not smelt it. Okay, great. Well, I've got some, I'm really looking forward to trying those. Bex has tried one, and the one that she tried, she really enjoyed. So, really looking forward to bringing you those. Right, I'm going to head off. Appreciate you being in the live. I said it'll be about half an hour to 45 minutes or so, and I'm 45 minutes now. I'm going to go and talk to Lisa and talk about buying a couple of the fragrances. So thank you everybody for joining. Really do appreciate you taking your Thursday evening out. And I hope everybody liked the reviews of the fragrances. They certainly are quite an interesting brand. So I was more than happy to talk about them. So thanks everyone. Really appreciate the new people that have joined the chat as well. Some new faces. We had Carlino. Thanks for joining, Carlino. We had some nice new faces in there and some familiar faces as well. So thank you everybody. And I will catch you again in the next one. Take care of yourself and we will see you soon. Bye for now.